All right. Hard to believe, already on episode 18 here, but doing just about one of these scenarios a day will allow you to go through them very quickly. So today, the scenario I'm going to do is Crumbly Woods. It is the next one on the original Roller Coaster Tycoon scenario list here. And Crumbly Woods is one that I like to play. It is one where you get some rides, and I'll open it right now and pause it. You do get a decent amount of rides with Crumbly Woods to begin with, but there are some problems with the park, which I'll go over in a second here. All right, my mic's on. Yeah, wonderful. So the goal here is 1,200 guests in year three. This, of course, is on par with the other previous scenarios. Mel's World is one of them. Pacific Pyramids was 1,000 in 4 years, but this is certainly the same difficulty as some of the other recent ones. And it is already a successful operating park. So some of the things that are here, you have a large Mobius loop wooden coaster known as Double Trouble. There is a Ferris wheel, a carousel haunted house, a Cheshire Cat tracked ride, a shuttle loop coaster styled after the Arrow launched loop, and a small wooden wild mouse. But the problem is, you might say, well, 1,200 guests in 3 years. The park already almost has 650, so it's over half that goal. The problem with this park is it's aging, and the attractions in it are aging. So just clicking on Double Trouble here, the ride was built 14 years ago. Its entrance fee is lowered. So typically a ride like this, it would get $8. But since it's so old that popularity has worn off over time, I don't know how much I will be able to charge for it initially, but 250, and even something like the carousel over here is only charging 40 cents per admission. It should be getting about $1.50, but it was built 12 years ago. So a lot of these rides are older. A lot of them have downtime issues. Going right now, they're at zero because the park was just initialized, but a lot of these rides are old. They will have a lot of downtime. So one thing I'm going to do right away, disabling the brakes failure, that will prevent any crashing from happening. That's the only cheat I've been rolling with through these original Roller Coaster Tycoon scenarios. I'm going to hire one more mechanic, say 5 handymen, and that should be it for now. There is already a well-developed system of paths in this park. There are benches already placed and some bins, it looks like, which is a good thing. There are a couple of already operating food stalls in the balloons, the burgers, chips, cola, and fruity ices. So balloons, I'm going to start just by modifying the prices on all of these attractions and stalls just so that I get enough out of them. So balloons, I'm going to charge $1.50 for. I think that that's reasonable. Burgers should get $2. And while the rides do decrease in value, I don't believe that the food stalls, people will not pay for them anymore as time goes on. Drinks can be $2 just to get as much money out of them as possible. And fruity ices, otherwise ice cream, only gets $1.50. In terms of, there already is an information kiosk. That's also good. So I'll charge $1 for the park maps and 5 for the umbrellas, as I usually do. So no research will have to be put towards stalls immediately here because the stalls are already making money. And I guess I could charge 10 cents for the restrooms for the time being. In terms of the loan, you start with $5,000. You're only allowed to take 15 though. So this is one of the scenarios where money is a bit harder to come by. And as for the attractions, the game plan here is going to be to rebuild as many of them as quickly as possible. So the carousel will be replaced with a carbon copy carousel. The Ferris wheel, same thing. And some of these coasters, like Whiplash over here, the shuttle loop, will be very easy to rebuild the exact same layout for a low cost. But it will allow me to charge the going price for it. So this ride should theoretically get close to $5 per ticket, but as of right now, it's only charging $1.20, and even anything higher than that, I'm sure people won't be willing to ride it in this scenario. So the first part of this map is going to be rebuilding some of the rides. The focus won't shift towards, bringing people in right away because there is a solid foundation for the amount of people that are already in the park. Something like Double Trouble over here is going to be tougher to rebuild because it's a large custom coaster of sorts. So with this one, I may either have to rebuild it or just cut my losses and keep it operating as is right now. It is profiting at 250. I don't know how much more I will be able to charge out of it, but this one, for instance, adding a mechanic near the exit, increasing the inspection times to keep it operating, that might be all I'm able to do with this one. Mean Squeak over here, it is a smaller scale coaster, so it may be able to be rebuilt. And as for the car ride, Crazy Critters, it does have a good excitement value, but it's only charging 80 cents per admission, and people really won't want to pay more than this. It also does get long queue lines just because of how this is designed. So Crazy Critters I might remove entirely. I won't get rid of the scenery, and I may build like a junior coaster or something similar, smaller scale over here to reuse the scenery, but put in a new attraction that's going to bring um, in profit, because this is one of the attractions that is not going to be able to profit the way that it stands. In terms of rides and attractions, there is a train. There are a couple more general ride designs that aren't in the park yet. As for rides, there is the looping roller coaster, so there already is a shuttle loop, but definitely quite a few of the coaster designs as well. Only one thrill ride is available, being the swinging ships, so I'm going to have to put research into that. No water rides, and I have all of the stalls that I'm going to need for this scenario. So right away, I'm going to just put all the research into the thrill ride category to get the Scrambler and a couple of others as well. And some of these other rides I'm going to rebuild. So I'm going to have to unpause it before I start building anything here. But something like the carousel here, demolishing this and replacing it with a carbon copy carousel is going to work out well. And I actually like the colors of it there. Increasing the rotations. It was called, I'll preserve the names, Crumbly Carousel. And now I'm able to charge $1.50 for it right off the bat. No problems there. The haunted house will probably get removed entirely from this park. The Ferris wheel will end up getting a long queue time. I do want to keep it, but it's all going to depend here on what I can charge out of it. So this one was Crumbly Wheel, and this will get, it's one away for being $2, but I'm going to keep it at $1.50 because these rides tend to devalue somewhat quickly. As for the haunted house, this one is going to get removed entirely. Yeah. And I'm going to replace it probably with that swinging ship. So moving this here will get me some extra money in the bank. Swinging a ship. So 1, 2. Entrance. Oh, shoot. Didn't realize. Alright. So that queue line for the haunted house was way too long, so I'm just going to replace it with sort of a straight shot down the land here. It may end up getting too long, but I can always monitor that as time goes along. I'll keep the names going here, Crumbly Galleon. And this will get $2.50 per admission. So open that one up. And I think the next one I'm going to rebuild here is Whiplash. So let's see. This will be a fairly easy one to rebuild as is. Is there a pre-built design for this one already? I'm just going to build a custom. not waste time. So, just like that. I believe that the station was like that, maybe. And I did something wrong already. So maybe it's got to go up one more and then over the path. No. I believe that this is going to go back one more. So up. What am I doing wrong? I really should have like memorized exactly what this track did. So I'll go up one more. Did something like this. I'll add an on-ride photo to it. Just like that. In fact, I want to say that it came out a couple more. All right. So this is going to be a powered launch. Let's see how this does. Oh. Okay. Should have enough speed to make it back. And I just want to make sure that it doesn't go over the edge, so... It shouldn't, but with a full train of people, it may have a little bit more momentum, so... Decreasing the speed a hair there. And the on-ride photo will add more revenue to this ride. Just want to see what it's at here. And the park is holding steady, just over 600 guests. So this line cannot get too long. 4 minutes right now. This will be a $5 coaster though. All right, open that up. I'm gonna go with the abstract entrance too. Sort of like the Blackpool Pleasure Beach version of this ride. Okay, so that was replaced. Crumbly Critter, or Crazy Critters rather, is not making money, so this ride is going to get demolished. And the twist is also available right now. Expanding this park is going to be a bit tough, but this is a decent space right here for the twist. The entrance and exit will have to, go down a little bit, but nothing crazy. I'll do the entrance there, the exit there. Build that. And the path is going to have to go this way. There is a little bit of vandalism in the park already as well. Some destroyed bins right there. I'm just looking around to see if there's anything else that I had missed at all. Okay. I'll call it Tornado. And 260, so another 250 generating flat ride here. All right. So the park guest count is already going down here, and that can be credited to, nothing new being built so far. How much will I be able to charge for this? That is my question. I'm not paying that much to go on Mean Squeak. It's going to have to go back down. I think it was at $2. A lot of people just left the line. I may look into rebuilding these, but I want to put a new attraction in the park first so it doesn't affect the guest count. And I do have the junior coaster, spinning wild mouse. I already have a wild mouse. I may go with the junior coaster here. That may be the best one. And a nice thing here is that the station will be able to reuse this. Where was the exit path for this one? I think it was tunneled under somewhere, somehow. It would have had to have been. Yeah. Okay. So the junior coaster will be very flexible because it can utilize the curved lift hill here. And this layout's going to take up most of what remains from the old Crumbly Critters path. In fact, I may try to reuse as much of this pathway as possible. Oh, that might not be a good idea. Because it only goes up to 55 feet there, and it's already going up to 40 feet for the second hill. So what I may do now is this through this little chessboard area, maybe a double down of sorts into a banked turn. Pray that it has enough speed to make it around here. Or what I could even do is I could make this a 3-train coaster. So maybe brakes, block, brakes, and then into another lift hill. This one will go up significantly more into a helix. Maybe something like that. And then I can fit a turn in here around there. I got to get back down to 20 feet to make it back to the station. So that works out there. And I could even loop it back around this way. So what I'll do here is I'll do brakes, brakes, block brakes. I probably won't be able to do that, no. I mean, a train will have to be there, but, you know, this is Roller Coaster Tycoon, so... And then this will lead right back to the station. So then the entrance... Ooh. Okay, so I'm going to have to modify the paths a little bit, but for the time being, this is fine. 10-car trains. How do they look? No. I'm going to have to go with, like, 8-car trains. There we go. The excitement rating on this coaster should be a lot higher just because of the, scenery around it. Alright, so that works. And now for this path. Yeah, this is very tough to see right here. Alright, so that works out. I'll give it a little jungle entrance. I'll call it Crumbly Critters. The queue line may have to be modified. I'm assuming that the line may get too long, but it is a 3-train coaster, so... And how's the excitement rating on this one? 5, not bad. Pretty average for a junior coaster, but better than, say, 450. Alright, so that one can open. I think my next thing that I want to tackle is rebuilding Mean Squeak. And there is... What's going on here? I'm not paying that much. Will they do $2? I mean, the ride's not going to profit anymore at that point. And what is this one getting? It's only getting $2 as well. This one will be cheaper, cheaper and easier to rebuild. What else did I get, though? The motion simulator. So that one may be beneficial to put in somewhere here. Just as sort of a quick money ride. And these bins are also destroyed. So I'm going to have to add, I think, a few security guards here. And this ride I was going to do the inspections on, increase them. This one as well. This is already suffering from downtime. The rest of the rides were all renewed. So Mean Squeak will be the next one. And there is an easy way here to rebuild a coaster. And it doesn't involve saving the design. It involves basically building 2 at once. So Mean Squeak's going to be closed. And I'm going to do construction. While I'm deconstructing this one... Oh. Okay. I can still... Ugh, that's not the way I wanted to go. While I'm building that one, I'm going to be building this one as well. And I already forgot where everything went. I think it went just right here. So now this ride... And as I delete segments, I'm just going to continue building this one in the same exact path that... And the cool thing about it is you get money back while you're building. I'm not sure if that was the exact contour of the drop, but it will be fine. So the name of the game here is just deleting a little bit at a time. And rebuilding each of those pieces. So I know exactly, like even with Whiplash, the small layout that it is, I kind of had a hard time replicating it. And it's pretty close to what it originally was, but something like this that's a lot more complex, you would not be able to remember exactly what blocks it turned off and such. And the goal of this is going to allow me to charge a little bit more for it than I was able to before. Having similar stats, I should be able to get about $7 out of it or so. So that's a huge increase from the $2 it was charging there at the end. And one may say that I'm kind of wasting time, but once these rides are all rebuilt, um, not only will money come in more frequently, but it'll attract more guests. I want to make sure. Oh my god, so hard to see here. Yeah, that's right. Stop deleting trees. So I'm almost done here with this one. It's sort of very stop and go, but at the same time, it will be beneficial in the end. I keep misclicking and deleting trees that I don't want to. This is probably going to be the best angle here. Which way does it go in? Okay, so this I should be able to, so Mean Squeak is now gone completely. Yeah, it went like that. We're at 20 still. All right. Entrance exit. It's all good. And I'm going to preserve the Mean Squeak name because it was so cool. Kind of pays homage to Mean Streak. Just want to make sure that it makes it all the way through, that there are no crashing hazards at all, or crashing potential, I should say. Place these benches. Yeah, without people in the cars, this is certainly a very slow-paced ride, like especially there. But it will make it around. And it was a white structure before. I think the blue looks okay. So now, I'm expecting 7 out of it. Did I not? I never even opened this up. I just kind of plunked it down and I said, This should get $3 though. 672. So for some reason it lost a little bit of excitement, but that's totally fine. This can open now. And now I may turn my attention to Double Trouble here. I do think it would be a good idea though to, at least start building the next coaster here, because I'm wasting a lot of time by rebuilding these rides. Double Trouble is fine as it stands. As long as it's profiting, which it is, that's fine for the time being. Go-karts are available. Trying to find a good location. There is a bit of expansion room in this park, both back here, a little bit over here, a little bit over here, but I just want to find a good space, for the next coaster. And I want to save this back here for something larger. So I'm thinking, maybe in here I can fit something. Maybe a looping coaster of sorts. Not a shuttle loop, but an actual looping coaster. So, off to a great start. Something back here. Crumbly Critters is broken down. No. You're not able to do banked drops with the average looping coaster. So maybe I do sort of a double loop. Why won't it let me? See through scenery. Okay, so I'm running into this ledge right here. So if I do a vertical loop right instead. As long as I have the space to do it. Yeah, no. And I was only at 75 feet, so I gotta be careful. Maybe helix up. And this will be a shorter coaster design, of course. Thinking about bringing this back, say, one more. Just so that I have enough lateral room to... Oh no, I ended up going, let's see. This block will give me enough. Helix up. Oh. So maybe I do a small one. Not a very inventive coaster layout, but certainly something that will help out here. And even then, I'm still... Okay, that should work. Or I could do a sharp turn. And I'm over far to 1, so an S-bend will be needed here. Ugh. Oh, well, that's why, because I'm need to still go up 1. Yeah, no. This is going to get modified even more. Even if it means if I have to go into the land. So the station ends up right here. If I could follow this one back, yeah, that should be fine. So all this needs to get brought down, like 1. Okay. Not what I wanted, but whatever. But now, if I build this up... You've got to be kidding me. Now I'm going to be far over 1. Well, that's fine. I'll do brakes, brakes, brakes. Block brakes. S-bends to the right. I'm going to have to sacrifice. Well, here's what I'll do. That. S-bend. This is going to have to come in 1. S-bend right. Okay. It's going to look a little bit funky right there, but it'll work. Let's exit. As long as I'm able to build right there, which I am. Okay. So now I'm going to test it. All right. Maybe a gray and brown with yellow trains or something like that. Now the question is going to be if it makes it around. This turn right here isn't too sharp. Yeah, no, it doesn't even want to make it up the lift hill here. Great. So let me try building it up a little bit more. If I build it up here, I can actually go over the wooden coaster. Although it means me destroying virtually... I need to be up at least 10 feet. How do I want to do this? What did I do? Okay. And I'm guessing that I'm not going to be in the line of... No. Okay. Redo it again. I'm just gonna have to keep doing this until I figure out what the there we go. So that should be enough to make it around. Try it again, and I'm starting near the end of year one. I haven't attracted any guests to the park yet, so maybe I run an advertising campaign for, say, Mean Squeak, because it is newer, just to try to get some more people in the park. It would be nice by the end of year two to be at least near 1,000 guests. I'm guessing by the end of this year with this attraction open. Okay, so that makes it around okay. Oh, okay. So this actually is going to work pretty decent for being a weirder design. Yeah, that works out pretty well. I'll call it Crumbly Loops, I guess. 5.95, so 5.50 per ticket at least, if not close to $6 if I add in some scenery or something. And I should have advertised that right. I didn't realize it was going to be ready so quickly, but I'll advertise it after Mean Squeak. This ride, can't afford it. There's no park entrance fee, right? Yeah, no. This ride is really not doing all that well as I assumed it would. No, popularity 96%, so it's fine the way it is. I'm guessing that 3 trains really helps out its operation and its queue times. I did develop. So maybe this back here. Let's see, something. Okay, so this path is going to have to come down just a smidge. But I'm going to have to loop it around here because I didn't bother to check the amount of room. What did I do? All right, that's fine. That'll work out somewhat well. Did get the award for tidiest park in the country, so as of right now, like litter and stuff is not an issue. I'll call it Ranger after the model name. The colors of it, though, maybe I'm gonna go with a orange. That looks so bad. How does the dark orange look? That looks better. 449. So I'm one off of $5 admission ticket for it. I had a couple of those. Will I push it for a 450 admission ticket for it, not $5 for a second? I was about to say. Is there anything I can add to make 450? Maybe a sign. There we go. If people will pay that, I'm assuming they will, but all right, so 709 guests and rising. That's good. And now my focus is going to shift to, yeah, I'm going to do coasters, thrill rides, or coasters, thrill rides for now, gentle rides in a bit for maybe Dodgems or something. Oh, I'm wondering why money's so small. I never increased it off the initial 5,000, so yeah, that's okay. And Double Trouble is something that I really want to rebuild here. So I keep this side. Yeah, and I'm going to start rebuilding it. So this side's going to get preserved. This side, I'm actually not going to do the double station. I'm going to make it a single track coaster. Or should I? I don't know yet. But if I do that, I can, you know... Oh, God. Oh, that would be why, because there's no lift hill there to connect to. Oh, okay. I should have, Alright, yeah, now I know what I gotta do. I totally forgot I have to actually build a new coaster for it to be considered new. So station platform. Okay. It's easy to do with this one because you have like a reference to work along. And I'm going to try to rapid fire this one as much as I can. I think it was something like this. Yep. So now this one. It was down. Round. Maybe this one went like this. No, not like that. Yeah, it was like that, I want to say. All right. So then it kind of breaks off. And then here. Oh god, that's weird there. I want to say that it went like that. Yeah. Man, this is getting really tough here. I can't build it from that way because. $800 guests though is not bad for the time being. And maybe it would be smart now to add another flat ride of sorts in here just so that, you know, I have something while I'm building this monstrosity of a coaster. The top spin can fit in here. So top spin. Yeah, I'll build it there. And then this queue line, there's no reason for it to be, you know, so long. So that. This one can reconnect there. No big deal. Start testing it out. I'll call it the harvester, I guess. Keep making typing errors. Harvester. Maybe give it a mute red. 354, so 350. Open it up. I'll give it the log cabin style. All right, now back to this, because this is going to be a priority to get open. And I will do an advertising campaign of the park for a particular ride. Crumbly Loops was a recent one. And I was right about here. So if I... For some reason, I feel like I'm not far over enough. Or there's something wrong here. Okay, now I got it. What am I doing? So I guess it goes down one into that. Okay. Now this is making sense. Nope. There we go. And in fact, I can even do one of these to minimize. I think. No, I can't because I have to immediately go. Something's not right here. I'm guessing has to do with this. Nope. Oh, I know exactly what it is. It's that. And then it's gonna meet back up. Double Trouble's in the way. So I gotta go that. All right. ending year 1, and I built one roller coaster. All right, how does this go here? I believe it's, yeah, it's like that. So then this. Not sure what it does there. All I know is it goes up and back. Does that match up? No, it does not. Something is up with that. Build it. It's just so hard to see with all the trees in this scenario. It won't let me do that. I don't know. I'm almost tempted to make this a single track coaster. And here's my reason why. Building this all over again here, it's going to take a lot of time. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it a single track coaster. So this one demolished. And this one, depending on where that station went there, so I have a little bit of flexibility to build. Okay. So I can do brakes, or block brakes rather. Brakes, 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 brakes. And this turn. Okay. So this is going to involve me removing some of the existing path system here. Let me think. I kind of want to make the entrance exit on this side, just because this is a bit longer over here. So if I extend this to there, this exit is going to come on this side. This can start. What? Track is not a complete circuit. That could be why. I think it was intersecting with itself. This should be okay. Now, so I'm going to lose a little bit out of only having one coaster instead of two, but the guest count is holding steady, even with this ride not in operation currently, so that one can go out there. Some people are going to get lost for a second here. Yeah. Man, this is taking so much time. Let's see though. I can go from this way. Some people are definitely going to get lost. And where did that handyman go? Yeah, he's chomping at the bit to go exploring. This is a bit of a dead end, but it is what it is. This can start testing. I'll just call it Troublemaker instead of, it was Double Trouble before. Certainly it isn't a dual track coaster anymore, so it will lose some excitement, but it will open up some land, and also it will be able to make the amount of money that it should. So, that will certainly profit right away, as opposed to having two coasters instead. Crumbly loops. So this one will be able to open and be advertised as soon as it's ready here. And it will have block sections, so it will be a bit more realistic than it was before. Seven. And open it up. So that certainly helps. I increased the guests sort of by 200 in the last year, and I needed another 600. So I'm right on pace. This next year, there will be more guests coming in the park because there will be more money in advertising, as well as, and I can pay off this loan actually right now. That's wonderful as well. This opens up some more room though here on the interior for more attractions as well. People are already waiting for it, so. So March of year 2, research. Keep getting those suspended swinging cars. Launch freefall is something I haven't built yet. So maybe I do Troublemaker for 6 weeks. I have enough money to advertise the park for 6 weeks as well. In terms of coasters, I don't think I had the Mine Train coaster before. That could be an option potentially. The rest of them I've sort of used, so maybe I'll build a launched freefall. It would fit there, but I also have to keep in mind the putting in the path system for it. Oh god, yeah, this is getting too long of a line. Actually, it isn't. For 8 minutes, that long of a queue, I'm gonna keep it rolling. Why not? I thought the queue time was gonna be like 14 minutes or something crazy, you know? This can go right here, because an exit can go there. An entrance, it will have to be bridged, but there we go. Begin testing it out. Oh, that got so close to the top. No, I don't like that. Queue line. Oh, there we go. Name for it, I'll call it maybe Powder Keg. I'm not sure if that's a trademarked name or not for, realism sense, but it'll work for this park. Get it yellow, yellow, dark red. And this gets $3.50 per ride. So there we go. Open it up. Using up some of that space that was taken up by the previous second side of Double Trouble that was there before. And everything else seems to be doing pretty good in the park. Merry-go-round broke down, as they say. Steeplechase has been developed. Not really a ride that I wanna purchase. We need a mechanic over here. Pronto. Do I have enough mechanics in this park? There's 4 of them. That should be enough, but... So I've rebuilt every single ride. In terms of downtime... Yeah, this ride... This is a new ride. I'm not sure why it's causing so many problems. It's just so funny to watch. Holy smokes. Alright, so early year 2, 900 guests now and increasing. I'm basically, besides the go-karts, which I don't really have an ambition to build right now, I'm out of ride designs. The go-karts may be something I put in a little bit later in the scenario. I could also research for water rides. And general rides, I guess, put a little bit of everything in. Because general rides, I have the... I mean, the observation tower could do good in this park. Depending on where it is and such things. Not too much flatlands to work with here. But they already give you, you know, a pretty good collection of rides to work with. 9-minute queue time, that's on the borderline of too long, but it's okay for now. Park rating's doing good. Yeah, no, I don't really want to build a steeplechase. Not too many people are coming in this section of the park. I guess it's sort of like a dead end. Back here, I could always build a path that comes back to the front of the park. I'm going to do transport rides as well. So maybe take it off of thrill rides for now. I have enough of those. Coasters for the time being. A chairlift or a monorail tram from this side of the park to this one would work out well here. I could install a log flume or something of those sorts. This piece of land back here I want to save. Certainly right now the mine train coaster is the thing I'm kind of looking at to go back here. That is the one unique design here that works well on a large scale, but something like a vertical drop coaster could also work for this park if it's one of those things that can be developed. There's already one of the junior coaster, one of the Wooden Wild Mouse. Maybe I'll do free rides on Whiplash has an on-ride photo, so I'll do that as well to bring as many people in the park as possible. I mean, I really didn't put all that much into the park. You have to consider that I basically renewed every single ride. I added some more flat rides. But the only like new rides per se that I added coaster-wise would be this looping coaster over here, which is doing very well, and the junior coaster, which ended up replacing the car ride that was already existing and wasn't making money. So other than that, I just renewed all the rides basically. Everything's been in operation except for the rides that I have been modifying over time. I think that really helped you already have half the amount of guests in the park that you need towards your goal. So even with one ride closed at a time, I've already, I'm 300 guests above what I was with what I've put in and refreshing everything and advertising along the way. There's no loan currently taken out, so the park is profiting as is right now. It's not really a hard scenario. You just have to, come at it with the right mindset, the right strategy. Certainly either renewing the rides or I think that renewing the rides or removing them and replacing them is a better strategy than operating them as is because they won't profit. They have high downtime. They won't bring any guests into the park because they've been operating for so many years. And the park is very busy for what's in it right now. The next ride should certainly push the attendance well over 1,000. And it's only early year two, so 2/3 of the scenario is still in place. Log flume? I may build a log flume. There's certainly um, sufficient space around the park for something like that somewhere. Could go up here. This land I do want to save a little bit, but the middle of the park, sort of in this area, there is a lot of space to get creative with the land and add another major attraction within there. So in terms of where I want to build it exactly, um, I'll cross that bridge when it gets developed. And it's developed. All right, so it could work around this area. It certainly could. I just have to build some paths in here and stuff, but I think the middle of the park is a good place for it. So maybe I'm gonna get, yeah, that the supports are too high. I could always go down again towards the water right here, as long as I don't get in the way of anything. This land can go down. Well, that was fine as is. Gotta get back up to 40 feet. Does that? It sort of affects the structure there for the wooden wild mouse, but it doesn't look, crazy or anything. Maybe it goes down another drop here into the lift hill. Now it's at 40 feet, so I can bring it back towards this way. Nope, gotta go up a little bit more. No, it's gotta go up even more than that. 50 should work, hopefully. Yeah, 50 will work. Then bring it back, add a longer station platform. And voila, not a bad looking log flume, and it takes advantage of the middle of the park, has a couple of one drop, two drop, 3 drops, 4 drops. This is the big one right here over the water, sort of right out of the station. And, now the big thing is going to be finding a way to fit in a path back here. That certainly won't be too difficult to do. I could tunnel it under this hill right here. There is opportunity to build a small coaster within this hill as well, so that may be beneficial to do. So here I want to tunnel this, see if it'll let me as is. If not, I'm going to have to raise that path a little bit. Yeah, raise or lower land, so this one's going to have to come up. And this is just going to go right through to there. No, this is going to have to come over one. Up. Queue line there. And then somehow I can bridge this path over towards this end of the park. Certainly I'm going to have to, go above ground a little bit here. It's going to have to go downwards. Bring it back. Then down. Wow, that worked out a lot better than I was expecting it to for the first try. Benches, bins. Bins can go on the verticals or, the sloped pathways. Maybe I won't have to do a transport ride now. I certainly could over here somewhere have it go around, but oh, I should have been testing this the whole time. 15 boats. How does that look? Yep, that's fine. Call it Crumbly Mill. Log cabin style entrance. And it will be ready to open soon. As soon as it does, I will start advertising this one. Maybe add some trees in here. Didn't need one there, really. Fill in the area a little bit, add some excitement to the ride. This was a good addition for a path because it is getting very crowded on this main drag, but now this allows another way for guests to go. Want to go home, I'm out of cash, it's too crowded here. Once Crumbly Mill opens, I will do the park again on an advertising campaign. As soon as this boat comes back around, this one will be good to open. Guests are complaining about the disgusting state of the paths. More handymen. Guest count is starting to go down, but 1,000 guests halfway through year 2 is a good point to be at. I'll open this up while I wait. Should get about $455, so I'll start at 5. 493, so $450 per ticket. Okay, that's not bad. That's pretty average for a log flume, $455. And I will advertise this ride as well. So, particular ride, Crumbly Mill, 6 weeks. That should help hold off on the guest count going downwards. And I'll see what was researched while I was building chairlift. Yeah, I'm indifferent. I don't know if I want that anymore, but it is an option. Certainly. I'll throw rides. Coaster-wise, nothing. So I'll wait for the next one. A shuttle style coaster would work good back here, or something that takes up a slender plot of land. This I'm still holding off on until probably near the end of year 2 or so. Early year 3, an attraction will open back there. For the time being, I just want to see if there's any, rides that would be beneficial to add, any flat rides or so. I'm getting a message. Hold off on that. She can wait. I'm gonna get a snack real quick, so I'll be back in about, say, 2 minutes. I'll be right back. All right. Excuse me. All right, I'm back. I may have to take another couple minute break in a few minutes here, depending. So it's just something job wise, nothing major, but something I'm definitely interested in. I will definitely finish this scenario during the stream, though. It's about halfway done now, and I'm well on my way to the goal. Um, I mean, as far as go karts go, I guess I could put it in. It would be another thrill ride to add to the park while I wait to build something major back here, sort of. Actually, now that I look, this might be a good space for go karts right here. Just because there's a bit of flat land in front. Yeah, that will work out good. So this won't be anything too major. Um, sort of a Bumbly Beach or Diamond Heights style go kart track. Um, yeah, it's just gonna loop around like this. Come back, probably do 2 to 3 laps depending on the queue time as well as um, the excitement rating that I end up getting out of this. And I have a bit of a good idea here as far as the queue line goes. Like that, like that, like that, like that. And then like that, like that. We'll start it at 3 laps, see the queue time, how well it does, and the excitement rating for it. I'll start it out at $4 in the interim until I figure out the excitement rating. But spiral slide is available. Not something that I plan on installing in this park. What are the guests saying? Nothing yet. It does need a full load to be able to start the cycle. Maybe put in a couple of these guys. There we go. It's just a waiting game. Waiting for this to fill up because you can't test the go karts, and they got to go through at least a full cycle before you figure out what the excitement rating is and such things. That's what, 9 cars? 10 cars. Okay, so that's decent. SD wise. As long as the line doesn't get too long, I can keep this at 3 laps. If need be, I can go down to 2, but only if that doesn't hurt the excitement rating too much for this. 488. All right, so 450. Halfway through year two, approaching 1,100 guests. This ride will certainly help. I could build something like an observation tower around somewhere as well. Um, do I want to hold off on it for right now, or all right, I gotta take this really quick. I will be right back. All right. Sorry about that again. I'm just dealing with something right now. Um okay. Um Another water ride, coasters, thrill rides. I don't need transport rides anymore. I'm thinking it's going to probably come down to a mine train coaster back here. If I don't get something like the vertical drop coaster or a hyper coaster or something larger. Okay. That was weird. I just got one of those emergency alerts on my phone, one of those weather ones, and I'm thinking, what is going on with my phone? Because I know it just rang because I got a text notification, but that was scary. Okay, I really got to turn those things off because it's saying like there's some kind of snow squall, whatever that means. I'm assuming it's something to do with the snow melting and like flooding, flash floods, but that scared the crap out of me. Um, okay. I may start constructing that new coaster now, just because I'm not sure how long it's going to take to research anything else. And by year 3 or so, I really want to. I really want to be at the goal. So start building this. I wonder if I'm able to go under here without any issue. No, footpath's in the way. But even then, I can sort of, build around. This will probably be a shorter coaster. Um, but short coasters for this game, short coasters definitely do just as much as um, long coasters in terms of bringing people into the park and attendance and such things. So it's got to go to 40 feet. Oh, yeah, one more. It's got to go to 40 feet to get back up. Hoping it has enough to make it back around. I'm assuming that this is going to cause a problem here. This just seems up so far. I'm better off going down with it. I mean, if I have enough speed to make it around here, it's not going to be. Oh, you know what the issue is? Yeah. All right. Entrance, exit. Crumbly mine train. The big thing's going to be it making it around this point right here. If it does, it will be fine. But if not, I may have to get a little bit creative with the layout. The mine train coasters seem to lose a bit of speed quickly. No, it'll make it around. And it won't be too fast around that turn either, so see what this gets up to. 6. Okay. All right. If I can advertise this one. Bumper cars are available. I'm going to build those somewhere. I could build them back here. Alright, so this should all add to the park. Hopefully by the end of this in-game year, the goal will be reached. I do apologize if I'm not talking so much during this stream. I do have something going on in the background too. Nothing major, just something a little bit aggravating, that's all. Oh. Yeah, that's not good. That can happen with that ride. It can pile up if there's a downtime or some other weird issue. I'll bump up the dispatch time a little bit. Not that it would help, but yeah, that's all it's going to let me do. I gotta take something really, or I'll let the scenario play. I just gotta take this real quick. Okay. Stand-up coaster is not something that I really want to build. How many restrooms are in the park? 2? Yeah, there's 2 of them, so I'm gonna hold off on building any more. The park rating's doing fantastic right now. Over here, I'll do an observation tower just to eat up some more of this land over here. This should generate about 350-ish. $3, 350 for admission. Man, this ride is really having problems with downtime. I mean, it's been fixed now with the inspections, but still. I may need another mechanic too. How's the queue for this doing? 6 minutes, so that ain't bad. The wheel, still at 9. It's okay for now. Hmm. Now, one mechanic is gonna get, what about this guy? Yeah. I'm gonna station one guy just up in this area. Because it's becoming a recurring theme where there are rides going down here and people aren't responding to them quickly enough, sort of. Classic mini roller coaster. It's something that I want to build, I'm not sure. Advertise the park again. Do a 12-weeker. I have the money. I could do like a mini roller coaster in this hill right here. Just trying to think of like what I want to do to get more people into this park. It looks like I'll need another coaster the way things stand. So maybe I'll do the classic. I'm pretty sure that the classic mini coaster has the booster tire lift hill, which will be beneficial for um, building within the mountain here, or the hill, whatever you want to consider it. Where am I? maybe this goes down, turn. Round again. Oh, it won't let me do that. Maybe I do like a figure 8. Gotta bring it back around there. Can't do the sharp hill here because he's got to come back up to 5 feet. Did I do? I know that I just clicked on. Yeah. Okay. So this should help the park. Well, I'm gonna actually start testing it first. I just want to make sure that it's oh, not that. Underground view is what I'm looking for. I really have to make sure that it makes it around this whole track okay. Yeah, no, the ending there is going to need a lift. I thought I caught it in time, but I didn't. So, block brakes. All right. It's only going to let me do 1 car per train. As long as the line doesn't get too long for it, it'll be okay. But that's all dependent on how long the queue will actually get. So 15 feet. Let's see here. Yep, that one will work. The queue line is going to have to be a bit more, a bit longer. Or I could keep it short because I can go under this way to lengthen it. And this. Oh, that's an issue. It isn't making it around with the short trains. So, let's see here. We can make the station longer. Okay. Should have enough momentum now to make it back. Okay, $4.50 per ticket for this one. I'll call it Maniac Miner and get this one open. Oh, it's just snowing outside. I heard a weird ticking noise. I was like, huh, that's strange. Okay, I'm really hoping that this one will push the park over the edge. This scenario, it seems a lot harder to be attracting guests. I should certainly have about 12. Well, I do have about 1,200, but should certainly be over that value with, you know, the amount of people in the park right now. Bobsled coaster, not sure if I want to research that. Or use it, I should say. Hmm. I'll just run some more advertising for the time being. Because I am over, that's why I nodded just now, I am over 1,200 now, and it is rising, so in a pretty good place. Once I get enough of a cushion, I will begin to fast forward this one. because there isn't too much more that I can build. Certainly, if I get like a vertical drop coaster or something along those lines, there are a couple of small spaces that I could try to fit it in, like back here. It would be a bit of a squeeze. I did use up most of the land for this mine train coaster. I'm going to need to make sure that this ride is sending out full cars as well, because the weight is certainly helping it go faster around these turns. Put some fencing in up here. Could add in a shuttle loop or something small over here. Like, how much would this take up? This could fit. If I would be able to squeeze a path in somehow. Or even over here. No, that's too small. This would be like an ideal location. I'm gonna try. Because if I can get a path in here, the queue line's already set up. It's probably not gonna fit. Oh. I could route it out this way. Um, or I could do that. That would work. I just have to modify here. Let's see. Oh, wait. No, that's not going to work at all. Um, yeah. May just have to start fresh. Like that. That should work. And maybe a brown. This one can have a wooden entrance. Just another coaster to help increase things here. Very compact, pre-built design. I'll add some more benches and stuff over here. And it will raise $6. Inverted roller coaster. That would have been something nice to put back there, but I'm just about done building with the scenario. There is very little space left around to fit more things in, and this coaster should certainly 2 weeks remaining. Well, 3 weeks remaining for Maniac Miner on that advertising run, and then I can advertise this one. The park advertisements are still going, so I think I'm going to fast forward here, see where I stand. Then advertise the park yet again. Advertise Hedgehog. Advertise the park. Advertise, we'll do free rides on Whiplash again because it does have the on-ride photo section makeup for it. Maybe do free drinks. And free entry to the park, even though there isn't an entrance fee for this one. And I'll fast forward ahead. There should be no problem now finishing off the scenario. 1,500 guests. It is going down, but I will have enough to pass. And voila. All right, so I'll do the recap here. In 1 second. So you start out with a decent collection of rides, just over 600 guests, which is halfway to your goal. You start out with the large double-tracked wooden coaster, the wooden Wild Mouse car ride right here, carousel Ferris wheel at the front, and the shuttle loop coaster. So essentially, the first year of this park, what I ended up doing, I need to do more staff in this park, definitely. But that's fine now. So, the first year, most of the building ended up being refreshing a lot of the rides. Double Trouble, well, I'll start with the first ones that I rebuilt. I got rid of the haunted house in the middle, a swinging ship ride went in there, a scrambler went over here. I rebuilt the merry-go-round, rebuilt the Ferris wheel, and started rebuilding some of the easier coasters. The reason for that is because they were very aged, they had high unreliability, but also they were only generating, $2 or below per ticket. So much that the car ride that's right here at 80 cents per ticket, it's actually not profiting. So I removed that right away. So I rebuilt this ride. I added in a photo section for more money. The wooden wild mouse and the wooden coaster right here. I took it down from 2 tracks to one. It has a very good excitement rating alone. So instead of having to rebuild 2 tracks over, I just rebuilt one and reopened it for what is now $7 an entrance ticket. Before, both sides were only making $2.50 or $2. And then went ahead and that's when a lot of the new rides started going in. So this custom double loop steel coaster for a price of 550 per ticket, and then I just filled in some flat rides and stuff around. So motion simulator, which that still has popularity. Motion simulator, swinging inverter ship, and the junior coaster was actually one of the first things I put in. Actually, I believe before the steel coaster even, but reuses the scenery from the car ride. Very little of it was taken down, and it's been operating ever since. Not as popular anymore, but certainly still does profit. I built a custom log flume in the center of the park right here, just taking up some of the land that was otherwise unutilized, and I bridged the path to come right in between the park towards the front entrance. Some other small rides went in, the launched free fall, the observation tower, as well as bumper cars back here. And I finished off the scenario, the last 2 things that I built. Oh, and there was a top spin lumped in there too. There is an indoor roller coaster in the center of this hill. It is a mini roller coaster, very general layout. It does sprawl out quite a bit, has a figure eight and a few hills in there. But 450 per ticket, it's a high profit maker. And the last design that I put in was this is a pre-built design, but this ride right here, the small looping coaster that fit within this unused space. I had to get a bit creative with the pads. I don't like how it looks so much, but certainly it does its purpose. I ended up with anywhere between 1,400 and 1,500 guests. It is going down now just because I haven't built anything in a long time. But constant advertising, rebuilding the rides. The park has not had a loan since the very early parts of the scenario, and it's very high profiting. So, in terms of rides and profits, the top profiting ride is Whiplash, which is the shuttle loop up here with the on ride photo section. Very quick cycle time. I have advertised it quite a bit. And even with the advertisings in place for free rides, people are still buying the on ride photos, and it is very profitable. Troublemaker, the wooden coaster, was there. And I forgot to mention I did put the mine train in the back of the park as well as a go kart track. So those were 2 custom additions put in by me. Crumbly Loops, which is the looping coaster up here, Hedgehog, Crumbly Mine Train, Crumbly Mill, Maniac Miner. So basically, a lot of the coasters are high profiting. Every ride in this park just about is high profiting. Even the Ferris wheel's making a decent amount per hour. The merry-go-rounds. And at the bottom of the list, a lot of the flat rides are here as well. But certainly, all the big rides are profiting big time. In terms of guest favorite, Troublemaker is number one, the wooden coaster, followed by Hedgehog, which was one of the newer investments. Crumbly Loops, Whiplash at the bottom of the list are more the flat rides and such, but pretty much every ride is doing well, and it's a pretty good distribution amongst the coasters. Even the log flume is doing well in this scenario, and the shot tower. So not a hard scenario. It just is something that takes a little bit of time, that is for sure. It's a better strategy to rebuild the existing rides or remove them than it is to keep them as is, just because they're not profiting as much. If you're running on the original Roller Coaster Tycoon, there is the potential for them crashing and losing a lot of money. But I built a lot of rides around it. I pretty much maximized the space. A little bit of space was left over, but I got pretty creative with adding new coasters and rides in and making the park profit, advertising it heavily. So 1,200 guests in 3 years certainly is not difficult when you already have 600 some guests in the park. But because the rides are so aged and you spend a lot of time rebuilding rides and removing rides that were already there, it is harder to generate those extra 600 guests or so. Just with space and other constraints, and research does hold things up a little bit in this particular scenario. But other than that, it's one that I like to play. I do like the way that the park came out. Bit of a messy layout, but I think that the pads ended up being all right, with all things considered. There is already, I didn't add on to it very much. The pad system is already pretty well developed through the park, and you have all the stalls that you need to start. So that's one less thing to worry about. Um, So I'm gonna cut it there for today. I just wanted to get Crumbly Woods done. The next one is Big Pier, 600 guests in 2 years. Not a hard scenario. Once again, there is a bit of land constraints in that, but by now all of the rest of the scenarios are unlocked here. Thunder Rock is the final scenario. 900 guests in 4 years is not all that hard. Rainbow Valley is a bit tougher just because of the land. 1,000 guests in 4 years, though. Ivory Tower's 1,003, Lightning Peak's 903. So all these scenarios, I think the hardest ones are done now with Mothball Mountain, Mel's World, Crumbly Woods. So certainly the remaining scenarios are all along the same lines as the ones that have already been played. They just have their own quirks and challenges to them. So I'm going to cut it there. Thank you for watching if you have. This video, as always, will go up on YouTube within the next day. And my YouTube channel, I am putting out content that isn't RCT2 related. It is amusement industry related. So there was just a new video put up earlier today, and this one will be up there as well. So visit the YouTube channel, Amusement Memorabilia. Visit our website, consider subscribing, and we are on Facebook as well. Thank you for watching, and I will be back within the next few days for Big Pier.